Hello and welcome to the Asian Conference on Art and Humanities, Cultural Studies and Social Sciences 2025. My name is Apikol Saitang. I am the Academic Coordinator from the International Academic Forum, and today I am here in Tokyo, Japan with Professor Thomas Endres from the University of Northern Colorado, United States. Professor, could you introduce yourself for us, please?
Well, as you mentioned, I'm in Colorado in the United States. My areas of interest, I'm primarily an administrator. I have spent most of my time pushing papers and coordinating departments and so on. But I have found some time over the years to do research, and my research has always been about the narratives, the stories that people tell. So I have looked at different kinds of relationships. I've looked at bikers, motorcyclist kind of bikers, biker gangs. I've looked at people in tattoo communities, father and daughter relationships, organizations like the Knights of Columbus. I mean, there's all kinds of venues you can look at to see what kind of stories do people tell in order to make sense of their world.
Wow, that's very interesting. You gave a keynote presentation, and it's titled Turning the Faucet to Full, expanding the use of Bormann's Symbolic Convergence theories, or SCT, in Asian Humanities, Social Sciences, and Cultural Studies research. Now, first of all, what is SCT, and why is it important for Asian Humanities, Social Sciences, and Cultural Studies research?
Well, SCT is a theory that basically assumes that in order for us to make sense of a confusing and chaotic world, we tell stories. We share narratives, and those narratives create a symbolic explosion between us. I have my storyline and I put it out there, and if it resonates with you, you add your little piece to the story, and now together we have a shared reality. The reason I thought it was relevant for this conference and to the Asian community is not to be Asian Pacific, but to be human specific. All humans are storytellers. I come from the camp that believes that calling us Homo sapiens isn't quite good enough. We should be Homo narrans, man the storyteller. And that holds true to all cultures, but when I looked, I noticed that there wasn't a lot of SCT research being done in the Asia-Pacific area. So it hadn't found its way over here yet. There hadn't been the symbolic explosion of the theory itself. So that's what I was trying to do, introduce it here and see if I could get the word to spread out.
Right, and hence why turning the faucet to full.
That's right.
All right, lovely. And in your presentation, I caught that a lot of your examples were from word use, and that generate the rhetoric community, people sharing the same sense and all that. Now, is it necessarily that it has to be words?
That's a great question. When I gave my presentation, I looked to the existing research that I could find in Asia-Pacific research, English language based, that used SCT, and they were all predominantly word-based. That doesn't mean it's limited to that. So you can definitely look at images. Like I mentioned, I look at tattoo communities and the artwork and the stories that go behind there. My most recent book is titled My Costume, Myself, Celebrating Stories of Cosplay and Beyond. And I look to see how people use costuming, attire, to create the rhetorical communities that they belong to give themselves a sense of voice and belonging. So you can definitely get away from words.
So anything, so words, pictures, actions, anything that happens.
Campaigns, advertisements, movies, music.
Being from the U.S., to the extent that you can answer, how do you apply SCT to the current U.S. politics? For example, is the U.S. a hero or a villain in the whole narratives? What's the plot line? And how has it been communicated to the public, either within the domestic area or to the international audience?
Well, it really depends on who you ask. Now, if you recall from my presentation, I said the method is particularly adept at distinguishing between us versus them. And there is definitely an us versus them going on in our country right now. One camp definitely are filled with Trump supporters, and the kind of stories they believe in is sort of his infallibility, his invulnerability, the whole notion of the Make America Great Again motif. And then you have another camp that believes that he's trying to launch an authoritarian regime and trying to trample all over the Constitution and take away people's rights. And I am not afraid to say that that's the camp that I belong to. All right, so I'm happy with that. During the presentation, I pulled out my turtle racer cap, because the turtle racer cap is the reward I got for using SCT in my research. And I will proudly say that there is more meaning and heart and message and understanding of the human condition represented by that hat than there is in the red MAGA hats that you see all over the United States right now.
With the ongoing world, we have conflicts, we have war all over the place. Being a communication professor, what is the best communication strategy for peace?
Finding common ground. And that comes again through stories. Something that I was able to add in at the very tail end of the Q&A during the presentation is that we found that people tend to gravitate to one of three kind of storyline motifs or master analogs. People tend to buy into very righteous, moral kinds of perspectives, or social, community-based perspectives, or very pragmatic, expedient-based perspectives. One of those is going to get head nods from you. So the good strategy would be to find what common touchstones do we have that are righteous, that are social, and that are pragmatic. Let's cover all of our bases and get people to find what we have in common in those areas. We start from there. It starts with the common stories.
And last but not least, totally unrelated to your presentation, but probably for our audience there, in terms of communication, what makes a video go viral on social media?
Well, actually, I'll use SCT to explain that. And there's the official explanation would be that there's something kind of deep down inside of us, that some type of chaos, something that we're not understanding. And a particular video has what's called the manifest content. The story comes out, and that story tends to be a mirror of where we are feeling our own tensions. So it's a mirror of our here and now. It's out in the there and then. It's like when you say, I have a friend who, but it's really you, right? So you see a video and it's telling the story that you want to tell. And so that third ingredient is the individual psychodynamics of the participant. Your mind is already there. So you see that video, its manifest content out in the there and then matches your own interpersonal dynamics, you buy into it. That's the official reason. The unofficial reason is sometimes it's just a darn good story.
And that sums up everything. Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome. Thank you.